Have you ever wondered why some people seem to grow wiser, think clearer, and make better decisions every single day, while others stay stuck, repeating the same mistakes over and over? It's not always about intelligence or opportunity. In fact, the real difference is often invisible. It's the habits they've built. Tiny choices made consistently that, over time, shape their mindset, sharpen their thinking, and strengthen their ability to handle life. These habits aren't flashy, and they won't get you instant results, but they compound. Day by day, they build the foundation of wisdom, self-discipline, and deep mental clarity. Here's what's powerful. These habits are within your reach. You don't need to be born brilliant, rich, or lucky. What you need is the discipline to show up and the humility to learn. Because the habits we'll uncover today aren't just good advice. They come from the timeless teachings of Stoic philosophy. They're the same tools ancient thinkers used to master their minds, find peace in chaos, and grow stronger through adversity. In this video, we're going to explore 10 life-changing habits that will make you smarter every day, mentally sharper, emotionally steadier, and more intentional in the way you live. So if you're ready to stop drifting and start growing, this is your roadmap. Let's get into it. Habit number 1, embrace the art of reflection. What if the smartest thing you could do each day wasn't learning something new, but pausing long enough to truly understand what you've already lived through? In a world that glorifies constant motion, the Stoics believed the key to wisdom wasn't speed, but depth. They taught us to reflect, not to dwell in the past, but to mine it for lessons. Why? Because without reflection, we don't grow. We repeat. We carry the same mistakes into tomorrow, unaware of the blind spots that keep holding us back. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in history, made it a daily habit to journal his thoughts, not for an audience, not for legacy, but for clarity. His reflections helped him confront his flaws, reconnect with his values, and lead with intention. So ask yourself, when was the last time you truly looked inward? When did you last sit down and ask, did I live today with purpose? Did my actions reflect who I want to be? What am I avoiding? Reflection turns your life into a classroom, where every win and every failure is a chance to learn. And the beauty of this habit is that it doesn't require anything fancy. Just a few quiet moments each evening, a pen and paper, or even a calm walk with your thoughts. You can start small. Ask yourself 3 questions. What did I do well today? What could I have done better? And what will I do differently tomorrow? Write it down. Speak it out. Sit with it. Over time, this single act of self-inquiry will sharpen your decision-making, build emotional maturity, and make you less reactive, more thoughtful, and far more self-aware. And here's the part most people miss. Reflection isn't just about personal growth. It's also about protecting your mind. When you don't process your experiences, they pile up. They turn into confusion, stress, and emotional clutter. But when you reflect, you create space. Space to breathe, to recalibrate, and to take control of your life. That's not weakness, that's power. Reflection also builds something rare in today's world: integrity. You begin to notice when your behavior slips out of alignment with your values. You catch the little things before they become habits. You learn to hold yourself accountable, not with guilt, but with grace. And as this awareness grows, so does your ability to stay grounded in chaos, focused under pressure, and calm in moments when others lose their grip. Imagine the advantage that gives you, not just intellectually, but in every part of life. So if you want to be smarter, wiser, and more resilient, don't just look outward for answers. Look inward. Make it a habit. Carve out that time. You don't need to spend hours, just start with 5 minutes. But make it consistent. Because over time, those quiet moments will become your strongest teacher. And that's the true art of reflection. Not escaping life, but understanding it so deeply that you begin to live on purpose, not autopilot. In a noisy world full of distractions, reflection is your edge. Don't just chase progress. Understand it. That's how you grow. That's how you get smarter. Every single day. Habit number 2. Question your assumptions. Have you ever stopped to question the silent beliefs that drive your decisions? The stories you've told yourself so many times. You've forgotten they were just stories. We all have assumptions. Some were inherited. Others came from failure, fear, or the influence of others. And yet, we treat them like facts. I'm not good at public speaking. I could never run a business. I don't have the discipline to change. But who said that was true? Was it you? or someone who gave up on their own dreams. The Stoics teach us a powerful truth. We are disturbed not by events, but by the interpretations we attach to them. In other words, your world is shaped less by what happens to you and more by what you believe about what happens to you. And if those beliefs go unchallenged, they quietly become the limits of your life. So how do you begin to break free? Start with a simple but profound question. What if I'm wrong about this? This one question can shake the foundation of your self-imposed boundaries. Let's say you believe you're bad at math, or that you're socially awkward, or that success just isn't meant for you. Before accepting that as truth, ask, have I really tried? Have I trained? Have I failed so many times that growth is impossible, or have I just been afraid to try again? You'll be surprised how often your limitations dissolve under the weight of honest questioning. That's the first step toward becoming not just smarter, but mentally freer. Questioning assumptions isn't about being cynical or skeptical for its own sake. It's about developing the courage to think clearly and independently in a world full of noise. It means pausing before you judge yourself, someone else, or even a situation, and asking, what's the story I'm telling myself right now? And is it helping me grow or holding me back? This is powerful in relationships too. You might assume someone doesn't like you, is ignoring you, or meant to hurt you, but what if you're projecting past wounds onto the present moment? By staying curious instead of reactive, you give yourself room to see the truth, not just your fear. This habit rewires your mind to become a seeker of truth instead of a servant to comfort, and let's be honest, most of us cling to assumptions because they give us a false sense of safety. If I never try, I'll never fail. But Stoicism rejects that kind of thinking. The Stoics knew that truth is often uncomfortable, growth is messy, but it's in facing those uncomfortable truths that we become sharp, wise, and deeply resilient. Take Epictetus, for example. Born a slave, physically disabled, and with no promise of success, he could have assumed life had already decided his worth. But he didn't. He questioned the labels, he challenged the limits, and he became one of the greatest minds in ancient philosophy. Why? Because he refused to accept what others assumed about him, or what his circumstances tried to convince him of. You have that same power. You are not defined by what happened to you. You are defined by what you choose to question, confront, and rise above. So, challenge your beliefs. Audit your inner dialogue. Whenever you catch yourself thinking, I can't, add one word, yet. When you hear your mind say, that's just how I am, ask, is it really? This habit doesn't just make you more open-minded, it makes you mentally agile, emotionally aware, and endlessly adaptable. And in a world that's changing faster than ever, that's not just wisdom, that's survival. Let others live in the stories they never question. You'll be the one who breaks through them and builds something stronger in their place. Habit number 3, prioritize learning over entertainment. What if the reason you feel stuck isn't because you're lazy, but because your mind is starved? In today's world, entertainment is everywhere. It's addictive, endless, and always just one swipe away. And while there's nothing wrong with a little escape, the problem begins when distraction becomes your default. Ask yourself, how often do you reach for your phone to scroll instead of opening a book? How many hours have slipped by watching other people live their lives instead of improving your own? The Stoics warned us about this. Seneca said, "We are not given a short life, but we make it short by wasting much of it." Entertainment isn't the enemy, but if it consumes more of your day than learning does, you're trading growth for comfort, and that trade has a cost, your potential. So how do you shift the balance? You start by being intentional with your time. Instead of waiting for motivation, make learning a habit as natural as brushing your teeth. Block off time each day, even if it's just 30 minutes, to nourish your mind. Read books that challenge your thinking. Listen to podcasts that stretch your perspective. Watch content that teaches, not just entertains. The key isn't how long you study, it's how consistently you show up. One page a day, one idea at a time. That's how wisdom is built. And here's the secret most people don't know. The more you feed your mind, the more it craves real growth. The more you learn, the more curiosity you awaken. Suddenly, you're not just smarter. You're more energized, more engaged with life, more capable of solving problems and seeing opportunities others miss. That's the true reward of learning. It's not just about facts and theories. It's about building a brain that works for you, not against you. Learning also transforms how you respond to challenges. When life throws something hard your way, the average person distracts themselves with Netflix, games, or endless scrolling. But the Stoic thinker pauses and asks, what can I learn from this? Who has faced this before, and what did they do? Wisdom becomes your weapon. You stop reacting emotionally and start responding strategically. That's the difference between surviving life and mastering it. And don't fall into the trap of thinking learning has to be boring. It doesn't. True learning is exciting, it's empowering, it's addictive, in the best way. Whether you're reading a Marcus Aurelius or exploring neuroscience, whether you're studying history or psychology, you're building a foundation of insight that no one can take from you. You're building a mind that's sharp, focused, and capable, and that makes you dangerous in the best way possible. Now let's be real. Entertainment isn't going away. The world is designed to keep you distracted. But here's where discipline comes in. Set boundaries. Create rules that serve your growth. For example, don't watch anything entertaining until you've spent at least 30 minutes learning something new. Turn your learning time into a ritual. Make it sacred, and over time you'll notice something powerful. Your tolerance for mindless content will shrink while your hunger for wisdom will grow. The Stoics believed that knowledge wasn't just something you gained, it was something you practiced. So don't just consume, apply. Share what you learn. Teach it, write about it, live it. That's how knowledge becomes wisdom. That's how you stop being a passive observer of life and start becoming the author of your story. If you want to be smarter every day, start valuing your time like it matters, because it does. Entertainment will always be waiting. But your future won't. Prioritize learning. Your future self will thank you. Habit number 4, cultivate silence. When was the last time you truly sat in silence? Not scrolling, not multitasking, not filling the air with noise, but simply being still? In today's fast-paced world, silence is rare. And yet it's in silence that the Stoics found their greatest strength. Why? Because silence isn't just the absence of noise. It's the presence of clarity. It's where your thoughts settle, your emotions surface, and your deeper wisdom begins to speak. The world bombards us with opinions, headlines, alerts, and endless chatter. But the Stoic path is different. It teaches us that growth requires stillness, that if you can't hear your own mind, you can't master it. Seneca said, "Let us have intervals of silence, wherein we may open our hearts to the gods." This wasn't about escaping reality. It was about connecting more deeply with it, without distractions, without filters, without the need to perform. In silence, you begin to notice things, the patterns of your thinking, the stories you repeat, the fears you suppress, and with that awareness comes power. Because once you see clearly, you can choose wisely. But let's be honest, cultivating silence isn't easy at first. For many, it feels uncomfortable, even threatening. Why? Because noise is a shield. It protects us from the discomfort of facing ourselves. When we're constantly entertained or distracted, we never have to confront what's truly going on inside. But growth demands honesty, and silence is where that honesty begins. Start simple. Set aside just 5 to 10 minutes a day where you do nothing but sit quietly with yourself. No phone, no music, no to-do list. Just breathe and observe. At first, your mind will resist. It'll try to fill the space with thoughts, memories, or anxieties, but don't fight it, just let it flow. Over time, your mind will learn to settle, and in that stillness, something incredible happens. You begin to hear the voice underneath the noise, the part of you that knows what matters, what you need to let go of, and what you're truly capable of. Silence also sharpens your focus. When your mind isn't constantly reacting to noise, it becomes more disciplined. You start thinking more clearly, solving problems more creatively, and responding to life with greater intention. That's why so many great minds like Isaac Newton, Nikola Tesla, and even Marcus Aurelius sought solitude. They understood that silence wasn't a retreat, it was a strategy. And there's more. Silence doesn't just help you think, it helps you connect. When you become comfortable with stillness, you stop rushing to fill every conversation. You listen more. You speak with purpose. You become present. And that presence is rare, it's magnetic, it's powerful. Because people can feel when someone is grounded, when their words come from a place of depth, not noise. So, build silence into your daily life. Replace the morning news scroll with a few quiet moments of reflection. Use your commute to think instead of always tuning into a podcast. Go for a walk without your phone. Give yourself space, not just physically, but mentally. Let your thoughts breathe. The truth is, silence won't solve all your problems, but it will help you see them for what they are. And that clarity, that calm, grounded awareness, is what separates those who react from those who lead. In silence, you stop being a prisoner to the world's chaos. You become the architect of your own mind. And that, more than any external achievement, is what makes you smarter, stronger, and more stoic every single day. Habit number 5. Seek out challenges. Do you want to become smarter, stronger, and more unshakable? Then stop avoiding what's hard. Run toward it. Most people think growth comes from comfort, from getting everything right the first time, from staying safe and smooth and steady. But the Stoics knew the truth. Real growth is forged in fire. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the obstacle isn't the enemy, it's the opportunity, it's the path. Every time life hands you something difficult, it's not there to break you, it's there to sharpen you. So ask yourself, when was the last time you chose the hard path on purpose? Not because you had to, but because you knew it would make you better. Too often we run from discomfort, we seek ease, we choose shortcuts, but in doing so we miss the lessons that only struggle can teach. Challenges force us to think deeper, act braver, and adapt faster. They reveal what we're made of, and more importantly, they shape who we become. The Stoics didn't glorify suffering, they just refused to be afraid of it. They understood that facing difficulty is how you build strength. Not just in the body, but in the mind. And here's the secret. It doesn't have to be a life-changing challenge. It can start small. Wake up an hour earlier. Commit to learning a new skill. Step into a conversation you'd normally avoid. Take on something you've been afraid to fail at. Each time you challenge yourself, even in the smallest way, you expand your capacity. You become more resilient, more capable, and more confident. And challenges don't just build toughness, they make you smarter. Neuroscience shows that when you push your brain to do hard things like solving complex problems or learning something completely new, you actually create new neural pathways. It's called neuroplasticity. Your brain adapts to meet the demand, so every time you take on a new challenge, you're literally rewiring your brain for strength and flexibility. You're not just gaining experience, you're expanding your intelligence. Think about it. What kind of mind do you want to have? One that's fragile, that panics when things go wrong, or one that's been tested, refined through experience, forged through effort, and calm under pressure? The Stoic mind is trained through challenge. It sees adversity not as something to avoid, but something to welcome, because every hardship is a lesson. Every obstacle is a training ground, and every setback is a stepping stone. Even physical challenges have this power. When you push your body through fitness, martial arts, cold showers, or long hikes, you train your mind too. You learn to override excuses, you learn discipline, you learn how to be uncomfortable and still keep going. That mindset spills into every part of your life, your career, your relationships, your goals. So the next time something feels hard, don't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Ask, "What is this teaching me?" And even better, don't wait for life to hand you a challenge. Go find one. Set a goal that scares you. Put yourself in situations where you don't have all the answers. Let yourself be the beginner, the struggler, the student, because those are the moments that make you. You don't grow when life is easy. You grow when you show up anyway, tired, uncertain, afraid, and still keep going. That's what makes you smarter. That's what makes you unstoppable. And that's exactly what the Stoics meant when they said, "The obstacle is the way." Habit number 6, practice gratitude. What if the key to becoming smarter wasn't just about learning more, but seeing what you already have with new eyes? In a culture obsessed with progress, achievement, and accumulation, we often forget the mental power of one of the simplest Stoic habits, gratitude. To the modern mind, gratitude might sound like a feel-good trend or something reserved for moments of celebration. But to the Stoics, gratitude was a serious daily discipline, a tool for sharpening your awareness, strengthening your mindset, and anchoring your peace in the present moment. Epictetus once said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." Why? Because wisdom begins when we stop focusing on what's missing and start valuing what's already here. Gratitude reframes how you see the world. When you practice it deliberately, you begin to notice what most people overlook: the small wins, the quiet blessings, the lessons hidden inside challenges. You stop running the endless race of more and start tuning into the richness of enough. This is important because a distracted, ungrateful mind is always restless. It's always seeking, comparing, doubting, and complaining. And a mind like that can't think clearly. It can't grow. But a grateful mind is calm, present, and focused. It sees opportunities, not just obstacles. And that shift in perception, it makes you smarter, wiser, more emotionally resilient. So how do you practice gratitude the Stoic way? You don't wait for something amazing to happen. You create a habit of noticing what's already good. Start each morning by writing down 3 things you're thankful for. They don't have to be profound. Sometimes it's the sunlight through your window, a warm cup of coffee, or the fact that you have one more day to get it right. At night, reflect on what went well, what made you smile, or what challenge taught you something valuable. When you do this consistently, your brain starts scanning for positives, and what you look for, you find. Over time, this changes the way you think, not just in moments of peace, but in the middle of chaos. Gratitude also rewires your emotional response to adversity. When life gets hard, most people fall into frustration, fear, or blame, but the Stoic sees even difficulty as something to be thankful for. This pain is teaching me patience. This setback is training my resilience. This delay is building my discipline. That mindset doesn't just protect your peace, it sharpens your thinking. It makes you more solution-oriented, more emotionally balanced, and more grounded when everything around you feels unstable. And don't underestimate the impact of gratitude on your relationships. When you practice appreciation toward your friends, your family, your mentors, or even strangers, you build trust. You deepen connections. You create a space of mutual respect. And a life filled with strong, positive relationships is one of the greatest indicators of happiness and long-term mental health. Gratitude isn't just internal. It spreads. It uplifts. It reminds the people around you that they matter. And that kind of energy always comes back to you. Gratitude also protects you from the trap of entitlement. It humbles you. It reminds you that everything you have, your breath, your abilities, your time, is a gift, not a guarantee. And from that place of humility, real learning becomes possible. Because the student who is grateful for the lesson, even when it's hard, will always outgrow the one who demands an easier path. So make gratitude part of your daily system, not a once-in-a-while reaction, but a mindset you carry into everything. Speak it, write it, feel it. And when life feels heavy, return to it. Because when your mind is grounded in gratitude, it's stronger, clearer, and far more capable of navigating the world with wisdom. Habit number 7. Surround yourself with wisdom. Who do you allow to shape your mind? That's not just a philosophical question, it's a practical one that influences every decision you make. We become like the people we spend the most time with, and the ideas we feed our brains every day. The Stoics understood this deeply. They believed that wisdom is contagious, and that by surrounding yourself with those who elevate your thinking, you naturally rise to meet that higher standard. As Marcus Aurelius put it, associate with those who will make a better man of you. It's a simple principle with profound power. If you want to be wiser, be around wisdom. So ask yourself, who do you listen to most? Are the people in your life helping you grow or keeping you small? Do your daily conversations expand your mind or drain your energy? And what about your digital diet? Every tweet you read, every video you watch, every podcast you listen to, those aren't just passive moments. They're shaping your beliefs, your values, your identity. The mind is always listening, so be intentional with what you feed it. Surrounding yourself with wisdom starts by curating your environment like your future depends on it, because it does. If you don't have mentors or friends who inspire you in your immediate circle, that's okay. Wisdom isn't limited to the people around you. It lives in books, in long-form interviews, in ancient texts, and modern minds alike. Dive into the works of Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. Let their struggles, reflections, and insights become part of your mental conversation. Then go even further. Explore modern thinkers who embody the same principles of discipline, clarity, and courage. Ryan Holiday, Naval Ravikant, Jordan Peterson. You don't have to agree with everything they say, but by engaging with thinkers who challenge you, you grow. And here's another layer of this habit. Seek out people who hold different views, not to argue, but to understand. Stoicism isn't about becoming rigid in your thinking. It's about becoming grounded enough to entertain new ideas without losing yourself. When you expose yourself to diverse perspectives, you sharpen your reasoning. You learn to defend your values with clarity rather than aggression. You become harder to manipulate, quicker to understand, and slower to judge. But this habit isn't just about consuming ideas, it's also about participating. Share what you're learning. Teach it to others. Start conversations with people who think deeply. Join communities, online or in person, where growth is the goal, not gossip. When you build your life around people and ideas that inspire you, your entire identity begins to shift. You become more reflective, more focused, more capable of independent thought. And that's crucial in a world full of noise. Most people are shaped by their environment without realizing it. They absorb whatever is loudest. But the Stoic path demands that you rise above that you become the architect of your own mind, and that starts by choosing your influences with intention. Because here's the truth. Wisdom isn't something you wait for. It's something you pursue. It's something you build your life around, habit by habit, thought by thought, person by person. So, choose wisely. Protect your mind like you would protect your most valuable treasure. Because it is. And when you surround yourself with voices that challenge you, uplift you, and teach you to think deeper, you don't just get smarter. You become someone others look to for guidance, strength, and clarity. You become the wisdom in someone else's circle, and that's one of the greatest contributions you can make. Not just to your own growth, but to the world around you. Habit number 8, take care of your body. How can you expect your mind to operate at its highest level if the vessel carrying it is neglected? One of the most underrated truths of Stoic philosophy is this. Wisdom doesn't live only in the mind, it depends on the body too. The Stoics understood that a strong, well-maintained body isn't a luxury, it's a responsibility. Epictetus reminded us, body and soul are bound together. Treat the body with care, for it is the vessel of the soul. In other words, if you want to think clearly, act decisively, and live wisely, your physical health must be part of the equation. Too many people separate their mental and physical lives. They chase knowledge while neglecting rest, ignore their posture while reading profound ideas, or try to practice emotional control while fueling their body with caffeine, sugar, and stress. But the truth is simple. Your mind can only go as far as your body will let it. When your body is tired, malnourished, or sluggish, your thoughts become cloudy, your discipline weakens, and your ability to respond rationally breaks down. The Stoic knows this and lives accordingly. Taking care of your body doesn't mean becoming obsessed with appearances or following trends. It means building a foundation strong enough to support your purpose. Start with movement. You don't need to become a bodybuilder or a marathon runner. Just move consistently. Walk, stretch, lift, breathe deeply. Even a 15-minute daily walk can improve circulation, boost your mood, and sharpen your mind. Movement doesn't just improve your physical strength. It reconditions your mental state. It teaches you how to push through resistance, how to show up when it's hard, and how to stay grounded under pressure. Then look at your fuel. Are you eating foods that energize you or drain you? Are you drinking enough water or relying on energy drinks and coffee to push through the day? Food isn't just fuel, it's information. What you eat sends signals to your brain. A diet high in processed junk will produce fatigue, anxiety, and brain fog. A diet of whole, nourishing foods will promote clarity, stability, and endurance. The Stoic way is not to chase indulgence, but to honor the body as a sacred tool. Treat it well, and it will serve you far better than any book or idea ever could. And let's not forget sleep. In a world that idolizes hustle and endless productivity, sleep is often sacrificed like it's optional. But science, and the Stoics, say otherwise. Sleep is when your mind restores itself. It's when your body recovers, your emotions rebalance, and your memory consolidates. Without proper rest, no amount of motivation or knowledge will matter. You'll burn out, lose focus, and spiral into mental fatigue. Aim for consistency, 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night. Create a routine that helps you wind down, dim the lights, put the phone away, and give your mind space to disconnect. Caring for your body is a form of self-respect. It's a daily practice of discipline, not just for physical benefits, but for sharpening your entire being. When you feel strong, you act strong. When your body is energized, your mind is calm. And when you care for your physical vessel, you send yourself a powerful message. I am worthy of strength, focus, and clarity. So ask yourself, are you treating your body like an ally or like an afterthought? If your goal is to grow wiser, to think better, and to live with purpose, then your body must be part of the mission. Not someday, today. Because the Stoic path isn't just about training the mind. It's about aligning your whole self, body, mind, and soul, so you can meet the world with power, grace, and resilience. Habit number 9, embrace lifelong curiosity. When was the last time you asked a question not to impress others, but because you genuinely wanted to understand something deeper about the world or yourself? Curiosity isn't just for children or academics. It's the heartbeat of a sharp, vibrant mind. The Stoics knew this well. Marcus Aurelius, even as Emperor of Rome, constantly reminded himself to keep learning. Never stop learning, he wrote, especially from the mistakes of others. To the Stoics, curiosity wasn't optional. It was essential, a driving force behind wisdom, growth, and resilience. So why does curiosity matter so much? Because when you stop being curious, you stop evolving. You become rigid, comfortable, stuck in what you think you already know. And here's the danger in that. The world is always changing. Life is constantly presenting you with new challenges, new ideas, and new people. If you're not willing to stay curious, you'll miss out on the insight these moments can offer. You'll fall behind, not just intellectually, but emotionally and spiritually. Lifelong curiosity is the mindset of the wise. It means approaching each day with the attitude of a student, not a know-it-all, but a humble learner. It means asking, what can I learn from this? When things go wrong. It means looking at people not as obstacles, but as mirrors, reflecting something back to you. Even in moments of stress, failure, or boredom, the curious mind sees potential. That's what makes it powerful. And curiosity isn't just about reading books or studying history, though those are incredible places to start. It's also about challenging your own habits, beliefs, and assumptions. Why do you react the way you do under pressure? Why do certain emotions keep resurfacing? What hidden fears are shaping your choices? When you ask better questions, you get better answers. And those answers unlock clarity that leads to real transformation. To cultivate this habit, make it part of your daily life. Commit to learning something new every day. Read beyond your comfort zone. Explore philosophy, science, psychology, art, and history. Let the ideas of great thinkers become part of your internal dialogue. Watch interviews. Listen to long-form podcasts. Talk to people from different backgrounds. Instead of trying to win every argument, try to understand the other person's point of view. Not because you'll always agree, but because the effort to understand expands your perspective, and that expansion makes you smarter. But don't stop at intellectual curiosity. Be curious about your body, your emotions, your habits. Why do you feel energized in some environments and drained in others? Why do certain people trigger insecurity or confidence in you? Why do some days feel heavy even when nothing's wrong? These aren't just psychological questions, they're clues to your own operating system. And when you learn to study yourself with honest curiosity, you gain power over the patterns that once controlled you. The Stoics taught that humility is the doorway to wisdom, and curiosity is the mindset that keeps that door open. It reminds you that you don't know everything, and that's not a weakness, it's a strength. The more curious you are, the more adaptable you become. The more open you are to learning, the less reactive you'll be in the face of uncertainty. Curiosity is the antidote to stagnation. It keeps your mind fresh, your vision wide, and your soul alive. So don't just learn for the sake of achievement, learn for the sake of becoming. Be curious about life, about others, and especially about yourself, because the moment you stop being curious is the moment you start falling behind. But when curiosity becomes your habit, growth becomes your way of life. And that's the mindset that builds not just intelligence, but true wisdom, every single day. Habit number 10, strengthen your inner dialogue. If you want to become smarter, stronger, and more unshakable, you need to pay close attention to one voice above all others, the one inside your own head. What do you say to yourself when no one else is listening? Is it encouraging, focused, rational, or is it filled with doubt, judgment, and fear? The Stoics understood that the quality of your inner dialogue determines the quality of your life. Your thoughts are the architects of your beliefs. Your beliefs shape your behavior, and your behavior creates your reality. So if you want to build a better future, you must begin by mastering the conversation within. Too many people walk through life as their own worst enemy. They beat themselves up for every failure. They replay mistakes on a loop. They whisper limitations to themselves until they start to sound like facts. I'm not enough. I'll never change. What's the point in trying? But here's the truth. The way you talk to yourself isn't just a reflection of your mindset. It's the foundation of it. And like any foundation, it can be rebuilt. The Stoics didn't rely on positive affirmations or blind optimism. They believed in rational, grounded self-talk, one that called them to higher action, not just comfort. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He reminded himself constantly that while the world is chaotic, his own response was within his control. That is the power of a trained inner voice. It doesn't silence pain or fear. It speaks over it with purpose. So, how do you build this habit? Start by becoming aware of your self-talk. Catch yourself in those quiet moments when doubt creeps in. Instead of letting it spiral, pause and question it. Ask, is this thought helpful? Is it even true? Would I speak this way to someone I love? Often you'll find that your internal critic is irrational and exaggerated. Replace that voice not with fake positivity, but with clarity and encouragement. Speak like someone who is training for something great, because you are. And here's something powerful. Your brain listens. Neuroscience has proven that repeated internal dialogue, whether empowering or destructive, rewires your neural pathways over time. When you choose disciplined, encouraging self-talk, your brain starts to respond with more confidence, focus, and emotional regulation. You literally train your mind to be sharper, more balanced, and more effective under pressure. It's not magic, it's science, and it's Stoicism in action. This habit also affects your decisions. A mind filled with harsh self-criticism avoids challenges, fears risk, and clings to comfort. But a mind guided by strong, clear inner dialogue, it leans into discomfort, owns its mistakes, and keeps moving forward. That kind of mind doesn't crumble in chaos. It grows through it. And when life gets hard, and it will, your inner voice becomes your greatest ally or your worst enemy. The Stoics prepared for this. They rehearsed adversity in their minds before it happened, not to become fearful, but to become fearless. They reminded themselves, this is temporary. This is outside my control. But how I respond, that is mine. This mindset doesn't come naturally. It comes through practice, through repetition, through the habit of choosing strength over self-sabotage again and again. So start today. Speak to yourself like someone you respect, like a leader, like a warrior, like a Stoic. Because at the end of the day, intelligence isn't just about knowledge, it's about awareness. And the most powerful awareness you can develop is the one you direct inward. Train your inner voice. Strengthen it. Make it your ally. And you'll not only become smarter, you'll become unstoppable. These 10 habits aren't just tips, they're tools for transformation. Rooted in Stoic wisdom, they're designed to sharpen your thinking, build resilience, and help you live with greater purpose. You don't need talent or perfect conditions, just the discipline to start and the courage to keep going. Pick one habit, practice it, let it grow. Over time, these small changes will reshape your mindset and elevate your life. Remember, real intelligence isn't about knowing more. It's about living better. If you found value in this video, subscribe and join us on this journey of growth and wisdom. Your best self is waiting, one habit at a time.